Hi, so today we're going to have a shootout between four really great reverbs. I'm a real stickler for reverb, and I'm looking for reverbs that sound as real as possible, because these days most people are recording in small rooms because people can't afford big studios with big rooms that have their own natural reverb. They're recording in small rooms that don't have a nice natural reverb, and so it's really important to have a great sounding reverb in the mix that sounds like a real space. And to my ears, 99% of the reverbs out there just don't cut it. They don't create a real sounding space. They might sound nice, but they don't sound that real. Can be useful for other purposes, definitely, but in terms of the main reverb, I'm looking for something that sounds really realistic and that's tweakable. So we're looking at four of what, in my view, are the best out there. So we've got four amazing sounding reverbs. We're going to be pitting them against each other with drums. So I hope you find this useful, and let's have a listen. I'm going to start with room reverbs. To begin with, I'm just going to play you some dry drums here, and I'm going to be adding reverb to the snare and the toms, and maybe occasionally to the kick drum, but mainly it's going to be snare and toms. I'll just show you what I'm going to be looking at first. I've got the Sonsig REV, which is a new reverb just out, and then we've got the Lexicon PCM room reverb, and we've got the, which is specifically does rooms, and then we've got the Lexicon native hall, which you can also use to make rooms. Now these two reverbs are from the PCM 96, which is their flagship hardware unit, and these are in fact all the PCM reverbs from Lexicon are exactly the same algorithms as the hardware, literally 0 and 1 identical. So they are the same apart from the A to D converter, which obviously you get in the hardware. And then next we've got the Waves H-Reverb, which you can make pretty much any kind of reverb sound from. And finally we have the Liquid Sonics 7th Heaven. And in case you don't know about this one, it is a capture of the Bricasti M7 reverb, hardware reverb. And it's not like most captures, it's not just a single impulse response. It is many, many, many impulse responses which are morphed between in some proprietary way that Liquid Sonics have come up with, and it gives you an incredibly accurate capture of the hardware. And being very familiar with the hardware unit myself, I can tell you, I'm not sure I can tell the difference. Of course, the hardware gives you access to many more controls, but or certainly more controls and a lot more tweakability. But nonetheless, sound-wise, this thing sounds absolutely fantastic. So let's now have a listen to a room reverb from the Sonsig REV. Let's hear it dry first. And back again with the REV. So really a really nice room reverb. I mean, this is one I actually made myself. And there are many other rooms in the presets, and also that you can make many different variations of the room. This is a very versatile reverb, I have to say, and there's a lot more here than you would think by looking at it. I'm going to do a separate video just on this. I'm not going to go over it exhaustively, but just this character switch changes the reverb pretty significantly, and so do these buttons here. And the size, each of these size clicks here, it's like a click dial, is really a different algorithm. It sounds really different. So yeah, it's very versatile. It has a lot of different sounds in it, more than you would realize by just looking at it. Superb quality, I think, and that's a nice punchy room sound. Gives it a kind of quite a punchy upfront beefy sound. So now let's move over to the Lexicon Room and have a listen to that one. So pretty real sounding. It sounds really quite a lot like a real room. So that was the Lexicon. Just before I move on to the next one, I will flip through these one after the other once I've just gone through them one at a time. Now we're going to take the Lex Hall, which I've created a room sound in, and have a listen to that one. So again, though it sounds quite different from the Rev, it has that same effect of making it kind of big and punchy and kind of beefy sounding. So that's what that sounds like. Now let's move on to the H-Reverb. And again, these are all, apart from the Seventh Heaven, these are all reverb sounds room sounds that I've made. So here we go so the reason I'm saying that is just because there are many other room sounds you could make, but I've tried to make room sounds that are roughly equivalent. Of course, they're not going to sound the same. That's the whole point of having these different reverbs, but I've tried to, this is why I made them myself, to try to make them roughly similar in length and density. So here we go with the H-Reverb. So, a nice room sound. I think this is the most different sounding of the lot. I couldn't get a room sound that sounded that much like the others on this one, whereas the others I could get them to sound kind of more similar, which isn't a bad thing. This has a strong personality. Really good reverb though. Very versatile, like the rest. You can really shape this a lot. Now moving on to the Liquid Sonic Seventh Heaven. Let's have a listen to this one. So, like the Bricassi M7 does, it sounds amazing. Everything from this reverb sounds amazing. And I didn't tweak it really. I don't think I tweaked this one at all, because actually that's not true. I think I may have changed the decay time. This, because it's a capture, it's not as tweakable as the others, but you can do quite a bit with it. And that, again, great sound, really gives it a nice low end size and kind of impact. And at the same time, a very kind of realistic room sound. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these, I'm going to play it and switch between them so you can hear what they sound like in succession. So we'll start with the Rev, and then I'm going to move through them. So that's it. I hope you found this useful and interesting. And if you did, please do subscribe and click the like and ring the bell and all that stuff. And I hope to see you next time.